Hello my colleagues, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, you are absolutely welcome too. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you 4 Nigerian stocks that are currently among the highest dividend paying companies in the NGX. This list is a mix of companies that paid strong dividends in 2024 and have also continued that momentum into 2025. If you are the kind of investor who loves getting steady income from your investment, especially through dividends, then this video is definitely something you want to watch to the end. I'll break down exactly how much this company is paid in dividends, how much you could have earned if you had invested in them, and whether or not they are still worth buying now in 2025. Quick one guys, take out a little time to smash that like button, share this video with someone you care about, and if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. By the way, there's also a link in the description and comment section that you can use to join my business and investing community. And without much talk, let's jump right into today's video. Let's go. Starting off our list, we have Total Energies. This company paid one of the highest dividends on the NGX in 2024, a solid 25 naira per share. That dividend was actually based on its 2023 performance, and it was fully approved and paid out in 2024. Now, here's where things get interesting. Despite making way more money in 2024, I'm talking about over 1 trillion naira in revenue and almost 28 billion naira in profits, the company didn't declare any official dividends for that year in their 2024 unaudited financials. But then, early in 2025, a fresh announcement popped up saying that they'll be paying a 40 naira per share dividend, with payments scheduled for May 16th, 2025. So now, what does that mean? It likely means that the 40 naira dividends is either a special dividend or possibly for the 2025 financial year, not technically for 2024. So to keep it simple, Total paid 25 naira per share in 2024 based on its 2023 results. So no dividend was declared in the 2024 financials, but a 40 naira payout is coming now in May 2025, and it's very, very big. Now let's talk numbers for a little bit. If you held over 500,000 shares of Total, that 25 naira dividends would have earned you 12.5 million naira in dividend payouts in 2024. And if you are holding those same shares when that 40 naira dividend hits in 2025, that's over 20 million naira straight into your bank account just in dividends. Even with just 100,000 shares, you'll be looking at 2.5 million naira in 2024 and 4 million naira in dividends payouts in 2025. That's the power of dividend investing. Your money works for you while you sleep. If you're after consistent dividend income, Total is still one of the top names to watch out for, but you want to keep an eye on how they handle future payouts. The sharp jump in profit means they can pay more dividends, but they might be holding back for strategic reasons. Now, let's talk about the next company on this list, Seplat Energy, one of my favorite dividend paying stocks on the NGX. If you are the type of investor looking for both cash flow and protection against the falling naira, Seplat is one of those companies you should have your eyes on. Why? Because this is a company that not only pays consistent dividends every quarter, I said every quarter in US dollars, but they have also managed to increase their total dividends payout by 10% in 2024, even in the middle of a tough economy. Let me break it down for you. Seplat declared a total dividend of 16.5 US cents per share in 2025, up from 15 cents in 2023. That may sound small, but at today's exchange rate of around 1,550 naira per dollar, that's roughly 255 naira per share just in dividends alone. And here's the thing, they don't just pay once a year. Seplat pays you 4 times in a year. In fact, they have been doing it consistently. Interim dividends every quarter and sometimes a special dividend at the end of the year when they have a strong financial performance. If you are worried about the naira's value dropping, dividend paying stocks like this can give you some protection because the dividend is declared in dollars. So while your expenses are rising in naira, Seplat is paying you in a currency that's gaining strength. That's actually one way to keep your portfolio ahead of inflation. Now let's jump into the nitty-gritty and talk about how the company is doing financially. In 2024, Seplat made about 1.65 trillion naira in revenue, more than double what they made in 2023. Profits also jumped from 81 billion naira to 214 billion naira after tax. That's actually massive growth, and part of why they were confident enough to increase their dividends. Now, of course, their costs also went up. They spent more on operations, maintenance, and royalties, but their profit margin still improved. What that tells me is this is a business that knows how to scale and still stay profitable. Another reason I like Seplat is they are not standing still. They just completed a big acquisition, Sepno, formerly MPNO, MPNU. Let me just call it like that. This gives them access to more oil wells and offshore assets, which means more production and more potential income down the line. They have also set clear targets for 2025, including growing oil and gas output, reopening short in wells, and launching new gas projects. So the upside for Seplat is still there, even with their stock price. In short, Seplat is doing three things right. They are growing earnings, so there's potential for share price appreciation. They are paying consistent dividends in dollars, which helps protect you from currency devaluation. Then finally, they are expanding and investing in long-term growth, which means the dividend is more likely to be sustainable. Now, that's not to say that there are no risks involved. Things like regulatory issues or oil price swings could affect their overall performance. But overall, Seplat has proven to be a strong dividend stock that understands its role in giving back to shareholders. If you are building a dividend income portfolio, especially with long-term, wealth in mind, this is one stock you want to research more around. Now, number three on my list is a stock you may not be paying enough attention to, but you probably should, actually. I'm talking about Presco PLC, one of Nigeria's top agro-industrial companies and easily one of the most underrated dividend machine on the NGX. Honestly, I also overlooked this company. Well, if you thought dividend stocks were only about oil and banks, you need to think twice about that. Presco is in the business of palm oil and they have been quietly making massive profits while returning billions to shareholders. In fact, if you held Presco shares over the past 2 years, you have likely smiled to the bank multiple times. Let's jump into the nitty-gritty and talk about numbers. For 2023 financial year, Presco paid out a total dividend of 26 naira 30 kobo per share. That alone gave investors a 13.6% dividend yield based on the share price at the time which they declared a dividend, which is actually huge by any standard. But it gets better. In 2024, they raised their dividends to 42 naira per share. That's a 60% jump in dividend payout year over year. At a year-end share price of 475 naira per share, that's still 8.84% dividend yield. This yield actually outpaces many savings products in Nigeria. Now, here's why that matters. Presco isn't just paying more dividends, they are earning more money and they are doing it consistently. In 2023, they made 102 billion naira in revenue and ended the year with 32.8 billion naira in profit after tax. Fast forward to 2024, they more than doubled their revenue, hitting over 207 billion naira in just 1 year. And their profit after tax, it skyrocketed to almost 78 billion naira, a whopping 140% jump. This growth you can't ignore, guys. You cannot ignore it. Even more interesting, they are not overextending themselves. Their 2024 dividend payout ratio was just 54% of their profits, which means there is still plenty of money left in the bank, for reinvestment and payment of loans and future growth. That's actually good signs of sustainability. By the way, Presco is not just sitting on cash. Presco recently acquired a majority stake in GOPDC, a move that expands their reach beyond Nigeria and gives them more control over the palm oil supply chain. That's big. It means more assets, more production capacity, and likely more revenue coming in over the next few years. Of course, there are risks to keep in mind like rising operating costs, regulatory pressure, and uncertainties around their business purchases. But so far, the business has shown it can handle growth without falling apart. So now the question is Presco still worth watching out for? Absolutely. Presco offers a rare combo: double-digit profit growth, a high and rising dividend, and exposure to the agricultural sector, which is less correlated with oil and currency fluctuations. That makes it a great diversification play. If you are building a dividend income portfolio in Nigeria and you want a stock outside of the oil or banking sector, Prisco deserves your attention. Now, if Prisco got your attention, then you want to pay even closer attention to number 4 on this list, another palm oil giant that's quietly making serious moves. I'm talking about Okumo Oil Palm PLC. This company is often seen as Prisco's twin brother, the same industry, similar business model, but Okumo has its own unique story and strong performance that deserves a spot in this list of high dividend payers in Nigeria. Let's jump into the nitty-gritty. First, the dividend story. In 2023, Okumo Oil paid a total dividends of 18 naira 50 kobo per share to investors, which was already the highest dividend they ever paid at the time. But in 2024, they doubled it, paying a whopping 36 naira per share. That's not a small jump. It's a 94% increase in what they are giving back to shareholders. If you held Okumo shares at the end of 2024 when the price was around 444 naira per share, that 36 naira dividend gave you a yield of 8.1%. Again, that's higher than most fixed income investments in Nigeria, and it's cash in your pocket. Now, some news platforms quote a lower dividend yield for Okumo Oil because they calculate using only the final dividends or a higher share price. But using the actual full year numbers, that 8% yield is real and significant. But as we always say, high dividends means nothing if the company itself is not doing well. So the question now is, how is Okumo Oil doing as a business? In 2023, they made about 75 billion naira in revenue. In 2024, they grew that number to over 130 billion naira. That's a 73% increase in just 1 year. Their profits also jumped massively. In 2023, profit after tax was around 20.6 billion naira. In 2024, it almost doubled, reaching 39.95 billion naira. In simple terms, they made nearly twice the money and they shared a good portion of it with shareholders. But here's something interesting. Okumo Oil paid out about 85% of its 2024 profit as dividends. That's big numbers, guys. It tells us two things. One is they are committed to rewarding shareholders, and two is that they may not be reinvesting as aggressively as Prisco, who only paid about 54% of their profits to investors as dividends. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you're a dividend investor looking for cash returns. But it's something to note. Prisco may have more investment fuel, while Okumo Oil is more focused on steady returns to their shareholders. Now, let's talk about the risk and red flags. Okumo Oil's expenses in 2024 went up a lot. Even though they reduced their number of employers, salary cost doubled to over 26 billion naira, which is crazy. Also, things like electricity, rent, and management fees ballooned, and they recorded over 8.7 billion naira in forex losses. That's nearly 10% of revenue lost just from exchange rate issues. So this is something to take note of for this 2025. So yes, the profits are strong, but the cost of doing business is rising for them, and that's something you will need to keep watching out for. But here's the bright side. Despite the higher cost, Okumo Oil still grew profits by almost 100%, which tells you how strong their pricing power and operation really are. And they are sitting on over 17 billion naira in cash, up from 8.4 billion naira the year before. That's a good cushion. It means they are not just paying dividends by borrowing or selling assets. The business is actually generating real money. So what's my final say? Well, if you are building a dividend income portfolio and you want stocks that are not tied to oil or banks, Okumo Oil, palm oil specifically, deserves a seat at the table, especially if you like your investments to actually pay you back. So guys, there you have it, my 4 highest dividend paying companies in 2024 and up until now in 2025. I might be making an update video later this year if we see companies that pay better dividends. But until then, this is what we have so far. By the way, guys, there are still other companies paying good dividends on the NGX, especially in the banking sector. If you know anyone that you want me to take a look at, please leave a comment and I would take out my time to research the company as well. Do well to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are yet to, and don't forget to join my business and investing community. Link is in the description and comment section. And don't forget to also share this video. See you on the next one. Deal.